Okay, got the skeleton horde. It's an old pot of it, but let's see how it works, okay? I'm kind of nervous about this step because the washes can either help or ruin. So I'm just going to use the stuff on the top. I've got the another ratty brush here. Applied a good amount. I'm going to rub some off though. You can see kind of what that wash looks like compared to, metallic paint is very strong, very dense. So I don't know, let's just start to apply this, and it's mild. It's a mild color, thankfully. So I'm just dabbing it on there. I'm just gonna add to that effect. And then here's some hair. I'm just gonna be a little bit more aggressive here. Yeah, that looks interesting. It's picking out some highlights. It's so that's kind of what it looks like. We have to really see after it dries what it looks like, but you can see what I did. What I just took a few, like not even a drop, and I just kind of dabbed it on there, applied it. We'll see what it looks like. Let me do that with just this little bit here. I mostly need it for the hair back there. And it's doing a nice job on the hair. It's kind of coloring it, and then just dab it on the clothes some. Remember, these are peasants. These aren't like nobility with like clean armor and like, so the look is pretty close. So I'm gonna make sure I get that in the hair. That's kind of what this is for. Yeah, I like it. I like it. It's creating some tonal differences on otherwise, gray. I mean, not gray. I mean, brown, beige kind of look. And you can see how it's darkening some areas, lightening some areas. That's good. And then last little bit. And again, you saw how little I put on here. You don't need a lot. And that's the other thing you realize about miniature painting as time goes on. You don't really need much paint. It's just like multiple thin layers of paint are what create the effect. Okay. So that's a super light wash of skeleton horde. It's like there's none oil, there's skeleton horde, there's seraphim sepia, and then way down the list is skeleton horde. But you can see kind of what this looks like. Hang on, let me move there you go. So yeah, our little war band is sort of kind of coming together. You can see what all of them look like, so. And don't be upset. Don't be worried if like, oh, that was a mistake. I didn't want to do that. You can always go back. You know what I mean? It's not like a big deal. Very few miniatures are just so expensive that you can't just do a take back and then say, okay, forget about that. I'm going to reprime it, or I'm going to try to strip it. I mean, some miniatures are stupendously expensive, that's for sure. But I mean, these aren't like, those kind of miniatures, and they're metal. Worst comes to worst, I can just dump this in acetone and all the paint will come off. Okay, I think we're in an okay place there with these miniatures. They all look a little bit different. They all look like a ragtag bunch of peasants running out to try to, defend their village. That's exactly what we're looking at. And again, notice how useful the metallics are. I mean, the metallics just really make the miniature. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna just apply a super light dry brush just to pick out some details, just to pick out a couple of little highlights. And I think that's gonna be done. And we're gonna think about how we're gonna put this on the base, okay? So let's see here. What should we, well, I know. I was going to say, what should we dry brush with? But I've got the obvious solution because it's sitting right here. Oh, I say that it was. Oh, here it is. Okay. Lucky bone white. Okay, so I'm just going to do even less. That much. That's it. I mean, we hardly want any. I've got this brush. Haven't dipped it or anything in water or anything, so I'm just going to do that. Remember, dry brushing is maybe the most important technique in miniature painting. So, and we're going to do a light dry brush, so I'm really going to try to get a lot of this paint off, and let's see what happens here. Let's see. See how I'm brushing up now? I'm trying to pick out their faces, some of the skin. Okay, I like it. It's looking okay. You know, I'm going to be a little more aggressive now because it looks decent. Yeah, not bad. You know, it's a fun little wild bunch. My goal is to try to get at least a couple of these bases of peasants, but man, these War Master miniatures, I mean, they're inexpensive, but you need so many of them, you know? And so, especially if you're trying to play like I am on, and look, I'm not even like, look, like, you don't see me stressing out about this. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm dry brushed. Let's see the difference between a dry brushed and a non-dry brushed, okay? So, dry brushed on top, non-dry brushed on, and you can just kind of see, hey, maybe this is a little brighter, you know, it's a little easier to see the miniature. You want brightness. I mean, miniatures, I mean, I'm not a big fan of like the excessively dark, maybe because I came up at a time when, you know, all bases were goblin green, but, you know, brighter, better. These are tabletop miniatures. These muddy, grimdark colors, or these colorways or these painting styles, they really just make the miniature just look untidy. To me. So let me just finish quickly dry brushing these. I mean, I only think we've been painting these for about like maybe 20 minutes with all the pauses and stuff, maybe less. The other thing that dry brushing does after a wash, it kind of neutralizes the shininess of the wash, because sometimes washes, especially Nun oil, is bad about this. It makes the miniature just a little too shiny, too metallic. Oh yeah, I like this dry brush of this. There's a good example. Like by dry brushing it, I'm picking out just the ridges in his surcoat right there. Okay, easy. I think I just got maybe 2 more to do here. And then look, I'm not, like I said, I'm not like being, you know, all weird with the dry brushing. I'm just having fun with it, you know, applying it as needed. If I put on too much, I'm not super stressed about it. It just adds to the variation and variety. This one I think I did already. Yeah. Okay, dry brushing complete. Let me wipe this off. This is a, you know, this base is just like a large, I'm going to dip this into water. There you go, water. And then clean back in the thingamajig. This is just a large base, you know, it's just plastic. And it's going to be useful in the future. I'm going to put something on it, I'm sure. But for right now, I'm just using it as kind of like a palette because, you know, I know I can just use an alcohol prep or something to just clean it off. Okay, so anyway, so we have our 150 by 100 base, nice and thin. And then let's see how we're going to place these chaps on it. So I'm going to just put that there. We want it to be kind of random. Like I said, this is a ragtag bunch of peasants out there just kind of, you know, swinging pitchforks and axes and hammers and sticks, trying to defend the realm. And so that looks pretty good. You know, this is like, now I could do this, you know, 2 and 2, 2 and 2, and then 2, and I could put another one there. The problem is these are just so absurdly expensive. So I'm trying hard to make a base with 5 because I have 5 more. And I was like, man, if I can stretch this to 2 bases, that would financially be beneficial. So you know, and you want it to be random. These are just peasants. This is just like a thrown together force, you know, so they're not going to be well drilled or anything like that. And I think this looks pretty good. You know, you can kind of see that they fill up the base, but not like, you know, because they're not going to be a fully like perfect unit. And then when you see them together, I may move this here actually. There, that looks better. Okay, I am going to super glue these guys down, and then we're going to talk about how to base them. Okay, man, we're making some major progress today on this project. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, let me glue these down.